Mother's Day is on Sunday, and while lots of us celebrate, it's not an easy day for a lot of people.
Now, some people, they've lost a loved one, whether it's a grandmother or a mom. It's hard celebrating Mother's Day. Jonathan White joins us with Norton Healthcare. He is a licensed clinical social worker, and we just want to talk to you about what people should do. How should they handle Mother's Day if they are grieving? What do you suggest?
I would suggest learning to celebrate life. I think the most important thing on anyone's tombstone is the dash between the time that we're born and the time that we pass away. And although passing away is hard, we need to celebrate the life and the strength and what those persons have left behind.
Should we then still observe Mother's Day?
Yes, I think we should observe Mother's Day. I have always encouraged people to kind of celebrate getting around the table, writing gratitude letters and sharing it, because we grieve individually, but we also grieve as families. It's been a lot of tragedies, grief and loss.
What about people who didn't have a great relationship with their mother or their mother figure in their life?
I believe it's time to find a pathway of forgiveness. I've gone to several funerals. I've had 3 deaths in the past 2 months, and what I recognize is the need for forgiveness and reconciliation.
I've always heard it said that if you hold a grudge, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. You know, so it can hurt you as much as it can hurt the other person if you have those unresolved relationships. Correct.
Those unresolved relationships tend to have people in that bargaining stage on the grief and loss continuum where we're paying the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And I've heard that's from patients, that's the most tormenting part about it. But learning to forgive and work through it, even today.
If we have friends who are going through this and we recognize it and we have some inside information, how do we help people who are having a hard time during Mother's Day?
I think asking questions, being an active listener, directing them to healthcare providers or mental health services, because grief is different for everyone. And when we recognize the deaths by suicides, you know, there are mothers now grieving the children that have been lost by suicide. That's on the rise for the Black community, the LGBT community, and so it can be different. But finding your faith-based community, finding a sense of peace, talking to people who have a shared experience, I think is helpful.
Jonathan, I can speak from experience. My mother passed away in 2012, and that first Mother's Day was very hard, and she battled long-term illness, and it was very sad for me.
Right.
But as the years have gone on, I have learned to celebrate the good times. This is a day I just take some quiet time and reflect on some special moments we shared. What a special mother I had.
Right.
Through the good and through the bad. I was one of 4 kids. It was, it wasn't always easy. And there are some memories just like, well, Mom whooped me when she probably shouldn't have whooped me, but a lot was going on in life at that particular time.
Yeah, relationships are complex, and the first anniversary, the first Mother's Day, birthday, Christmas are usually the hardest. It gets better. A lot of mothers that I've worked with recently are taking a time away from church because they don't want to be bombarded by the questions, and people have to do what's comfortable for them. I've had, over the years, disagreements with my mom, but my mom is the most resilient person, and I learned bouncing back from her. My grandmother was the most nurturing person, and so we learn strengths, and whatever we can do to bring about reconciliation, we need it as an individual, we need it as families, and we need it as a community.
I didn't realize that people told me it would get better with time. And for me, it did get better with time.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just one moment. And getting up out of the bed is a major accomplishment for some people. And so we don't want to discount the positive. Too often we're looking at it's just a little bit, but it's a little that turns into a lot. It's a gradual process.
Yeah, that's it.
Jonathan, thank you so much. We really appreciate your expertise.